There's a saying in the Army, I'm in the Army, there's a saying in the Army that an operation or a plan is only good for the first 30 seconds. After that, it's all improvisation. So here I am today, improvising. An example. 2003, I was part of the invasion and liberation of northern Iraq, which is also known as Kurdistan. I had to get on an airplane, a very big airplane, with a very heavy tank, and fly from Europe into northern Iraq, and then drive south to take my objective. It's a very big deal, actually. There are only 5 tanks in the world that have ever done that in the actual war, and there are only 20 soldiers in the world who can say that they've done that. And it's such a big deal, in fact, that they actually had the commanding general of the United States Army here, 4-star general, they don't get any higher than that, come down and see us off. It was exciting and surreal, and in the end, things didn't go as planned. As a matter of fact, we made the stop in the city of Erbil to do a maintenance halt to just kind of check our vehicles, and mine broke. Can you imagine being towed into combat like a car being towed by a tow truck? That's what happened to me. So things didn't go as planned. Here I am today. Things didn't go as planned. But we make the most of our situation. We do the best we can to accomplish our mission. And so I'm going to do the best that I can for you. And hopefully today you'll learn something from me. Today we're going to discuss 3 different aspects of communication. We're going to talk about the seeking approval from others in our communication. What are the different communications we use to seek compliance from others? And also what's power and how it's incorporated in our daily interactions with others. The material for this presentation can be found in your textbook, Communicating a Social Career and Cultural Focus, 11th edition by Burko, Women and Woman, Chapter 6. And so let me get to some things that we can actually use day to day. For some of us, it's about attitude, how we approach people, how we approach ourselves first and foremost. For some of us, truly feeling secure with ourselves and having the ability to accept and love ourselves can be a great challenge. I'm certain that at some point in our lives, all of you myself, have kind of questioned our self-worth. We may even look outside ourselves for the approval and love that we need in seeking the approval of others. Now, how do we eliminate the desire to seek approval from others? Well, in many instances of interpersonal communication, people extend a great deal of energy seeking the approval of others. Often, they will tend to sacrifice their own self-worth in seeking the approval of others. They rely on the approval of others as a measure of their own self-worth, and they allow others to be the masters of their destinies rather than taking control of their own lives. Now, there are tools that we can use. To overcome this hurdle. For instance, Burko, Woman and Woman have provided them, and I presented them to you here. For instance, if you suspect someone else of trying to control you by withholding approval, say so. Don't hold back. Speak your truth. Set up that personal boundary. When you are faced with disapproval, ask yourself, if they agree with me, would I be better off? It doesn't really matter. If you can refuse to argue, if you can accept that some people will never understand you and this situation is perfectly acceptable, you'll be able to move on. You can refuse to argue or try convincing anyone of the rightness of your stance and simply still believe in yourself, you'll be able to beat that hurdle. Moreover, trust yourself. Know. Be confident. Don't look to others to substantiate or validate yourself. Work at eliminating the apologies you make, even when you are not wrong or sorry for what you said or done. Perhaps some of the aforementioned behaviors sound eerily familiar to you, and the tools provided will therefore be put to good use. It must be made clear that there is a difference between seeking approval and seeking compliance within our relationships. Because we're social creatures, we often rely on others for support. We need them to do something for us. Hey, I need you to do something for me. Hey, can you take me to the store? Can you pick something up for me? Depending on the situation, we may employ various methods if they are desired for them to take action on our behalf. Vertical woman offers some insight as we ask that question. What are the different communication methods used to seek compliance for others? Pre-giving. That's when you give something to someone and you're going to kind of hold them to that later on. So, well, if I do this for them, maybe they'll do something for me later on. Liking. You get them to like you. They want to do something for you because they like who you are. The promise. No new taxes. Right? There's a threat. If you don't get out of China, we're going to have to force our hand. Self-feelings. That's when you wager against someone's guilt. Well, you know how I feel if you did that, right? You know it really hurt me. Hung out with guys instead of taking me to movies. Or their esteem. You appeal to their desire for pleasure, profit, or prestige. You know, there's a bonus for those who make five sales this month. You get a day off, or you get a half a day. So there's this desire to please. There's this desire to win, and you get to be the winner. So they comply as a means of gaining the incentive which you provide. Debt. Hey, do you remember last time I did that for you? You can't do this for me? Come on. In the above-mentioned examples, power is exercised either by either party or both. Power can be situational and conditional. Although we tend to have innate ability to recognize the balance of power in relationships and interactions with others, we seldom really put forth any effort to categorize or define the various types of power and how they apply in our interpersonal relationships or interpersonal communication. Vertical movement and woman have provided clarity on the different types of power so that we may better understand power and what are the different types and the roles that they play in communication. I'm just going to go run through this really quick here. Now, we all hold some degree of power in one form or another. All right? There's those who have expert power, the capacity to influence another person because we have a degree of knowledge. There's the person, the mechanic, or the instructor or the librarian for doing that research project. How do I find this information? You're going to go to the person who knows how to do it for you. There's reverent power. I would do anything for them because they're just so awesome. So awesome. Reward power. That's when, vertical women, they suggest that parents are the ultimate possessors of that reward power. If you want to please your parents, you want to make them happy. Hey, if I do my chores, then I can go out Friday night. Or I'll get that money for the movie. Then there's coercive power. Coercive power is like, I have to do it, or they're making me do it. Now that requires certain prerequisites in order to execute that power, or exercise it. So there's 4 prerequisites. Knowledge of the most effective weapons against a subject, i.e., what do they fear the most? Well, if you don't do that, there's no way you're grounded. I'm not going to let you out. Acquisition of said weapons. I'm going to take away your car keys. The ability to convince the subject of your possession of said weapons. I'm going to tell everyone what you said to your boyfriend the other night. That was so lame. Your ability to persuade the subject with your willingness to listen. I really will tell them. I am not playing. I'm really going to tell them. Then there's legitimate power. But now that's based on position. social status, or like your boss, for instance. That's a great example. Or your instructor, or your elected representative. Those people hold power, and that's power granted by you. Or people grant you that power. As you can see, language is complex and intricate, and most of all powerful. Language can stir emotion, inspire action, or cause dramatic harm. Language can make us laugh, make us cry, make us work, make us forget our sorrows, and so much more. There's an inherent responsibility that comes with the use of language. The Golden Rule reminds us to use language responsibly. So, as a result of our discussion today, we understand how to get over the hurdle of seeking self-approval from others. We understand ways in which to gain compliance through interpersonal communication, and also the different various forms of power that we hold or others hold in our relationships, and how to